everyone, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around the world and the internet to try and find interesting products that will benefit you as an artist to either make you faster or just make the process that much more enjoyable. Today we're going to something a little bit different. For those of you who know me, know that I absolutely hate inking. It is one of the most unenjoyable things that I do. Not saying that inking isn't fun for some other people, and others have made a fantastic career out of it, but for me it's just something that I do not like. So when it comes to product that is about inking, I'm always like, ugh. But I am moving forward, trying to make inking a more enjoyable process for me. And so when I saw this product being used by a fellow comic art professional, I was like, all right, well, let me try it, because it looked like they were using a pen, but they were getting such variety in their line work. And I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. What is that? And so what we're going to be going over today is the TOMBOW Fudenosuke calligraphy brush pens. So I have two here. One is black, and then one is a gray and black. So it has a brush and a tip, so a bullet tip. So we're gonna be trying these out to see if these will give me what I'm looking for, which is control and yet still the variety of a brush. It seems pretty interesting. I am actually very, very excited to get into these. So why don't we just go ahead and do that? Okay, so as you can see, these are both individually wrapped, which is typical for most things that come from overseas. They're definitely all individually wrapped. I don't understand any of the language that's on here, but I'm pretty interested in seeing how they are made. They're imported by TOMBOW, so that's really cool. So yeah, we're gonna start with the black one, and then we'll move over to the black and gray. And I love how the packaging is really easy to open, right? It's just a little sticky plastic on the one side, and then, oh wow, look at that. It comes with a little ruler. But I think this is so for your calligraphy, it actually, so it's so that you can actually keep the right size when you are writing. So that's interesting. If I ever decide to do, I want to say it's Japanese, but I want to start doing Japanese calligraphy, I have a guide to go, so that's cool. The pen itself, I mean, it's sturdy, it's a pen, nothing too special. The back, as we've established in some other videos, it's always nice that when the cap connects to the back, you don't have to worry about it falling off, so that's cool. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, or there you go. That might be better. So the pen itself, so this is supposed to be a brush, but it really looks as though it is a pen nib. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works. If it's a flexible nib or what. It claims to be a brush pen. So I'm actually interested, because that would be really cool if the brush is actually formatted into a pen type nib, but yet it has a flexibility of a brush, so that you can get some nice line weight going through it and some thick and thins as you move your pen around, and you wouldn't have to actually go back and make like a shape, right? So you're not making the shape, you're actually just using the brush. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what we can do. All right, so here we go. Just gonna go ahead and make some nice lines, right? They're nice and thin. Okay, I guess the ink needed to start flowing a little bit. All right, so it is kind of like a flexible nib. See? You see that? You can really make some nice feather marks, really get that nice movement going. And so this is definitely going to take some getting used to, but once it starts going, it's actually pretty nice. I mean, it gives you a nice variety. Even though the nib is very, very tiny, you can still get some nice thick lines out of it. So if you are going slow, right, you can always pick it up. You can make some nice calligraphy lines, see? So if you go nice and slow with it, so it's kind of, I mean, it's really like a brush, you know, if you can actually, you can really control it. You can get some really nice curved lines in there, and then come back and then just do some really nice, tight, thin lines. But what I'm noticing is that it doesn't really, when going fast, you know, if you're pulling it up towards the end, it starts fading here, right? It starts breaking apart. And I don't know if that's because of the nib, or if the ink's just not flowing and just needs some more time, because once you push down on it and really go a little bit slower, you know, you can get some nice lines, and the ink doesn't kind of fall apart. It's only when I kind of push and pull up really fast that it kind of breaks with the flow of ink. But you can get some really nice thin details by switching up the brush, right? So you can get some nice hatch marks going on, right? Look at that, some really nice thin lines going on there. So that's nice. And I do enjoy the fact that I can come in, you know, push a little bit harder, and then get this nice variation in line. Like, that's really cool. And it seems like as long as you go at a relatively normal speed, the ink does not actually fall. It doesn't falter. It doesn't fade out like I have here, you know, because when I was doing it here, and here, it was really like a flick of the wrist. So the ink didn't have enough time. See, like, every time I kind of flick it, and it frays just like a brush, right? But if you do it slowly, right, as long as you do it slowly and then you actually keep the brush on the paper, it actually does really well, right? And I think that it's just going to take some getting used to. See, but if you go fast, like if you're in some type of hurry, right, it definitely, the ink does not flow as well or fast with your pen. Now, like I said, it might be my brush, it might be this pen specifically on how that works, right? But just coming through and, you know, doing that, it's got some nice variety, some nice line weight to it. So that's an interesting brush, you know, and the nib itself keeps its shape, and so then you can come back and do these really fine little lines, right? But this pen is not, it doesn't seem like it's about going fast. Like, so from my experience with a brush, that is kind of the same experience, is that you're really kind of taking your time to make those brush strokes, right? And so I can even tell with, you know, with the way that I'm doing it, that I would still need some practice with this brush pen, because it mimics the idea of a brush so well. Like, this is bringing back inking assignment feels with this pen, but I have so much control over it. Like, I feel as though I'm actually in control, unlike when I was using a brush, I didn't. And the only downfall is that I'm used to, you know, really trying to knock stuff out really, really fast. And this is gonna force me to slow down in order to get the full feel of the ink. But it's really nice when it comes to like getting that thick to thin. And once you start getting used to it, right? Look at that. You can get some really nice thick to thin ink lines. And I think what really gets me about this is its versatility, right? So it goes really, really thin. So the nib itself is absolutely amazing, because you can go from these itty bitty lines, right, to these really nice flowing thick to thin lines. So that's actually really cool. All right, let's go ahead and break this one open, because this one apparently has 2 nibs on it. All right, this is this one. And it too comes with a guide. All right, so this one has a different feel to it. This one's a little bit more plasticky, right? The actual pen feel, it's also bigger than the other one, I'm assuming because of the double nib. So, but it too, the cap sticks on that side, so let's see about this one. Cap sticks on that side, so that's good. So, I mean, that's fine. And so let's see, we got a gray. It's a nice indicator, right? So you don't have to worry about it. Gray line, black line. So this gray. And so I haven't used this, right? So you can tell that once you got to get the ink flowing first. All right, now this gray one, because it's gray, it's not opaque. So when you go over it, right? So when you go over it, you can actually see that the ink is lining up over it. So, and generally when you have these two-tone type pens and stuff, they don't have as much ink as something that is a single tone pen. So I have a feeling that this would run out a lot sooner. So with this one, I mean, it's got the same feel to it, and just like in the first one, it took a minute for the ink to really get going, because if you look at the first ones, it breaks apart and it's all kind of crazy like that. But once you actually get it going, the ink flows, it becomes nice, and it's a darker gray. I would say about a good 60 or 70% gray. Don't exactly know why you would be inking with a 60% gray, but it does exist. So, you know, you have the option if you're inking with gray. I mean, I guess if it's, you know, some type of feeling. I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but the ink seems to be flowing different in this gray one, and because it's gray, it's starting to break apart. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but like here you can see the white dots again, like we've noticed in a lot of different things. So it's kind of interesting that this, I mean, it works, and then when you start trying to do the big lines, the ink itself, the consistency of the ink starts beating up, so it gets those white lines. So if you're trying to make those nice big flowing lines, it does in fact interact with the ink, I mean with the paper, to where the white bubbles show up in your paper. And then, I mean, this one's pretty much just like the other one, right? Although I have to say, it seems like this one's a little bit softer. So the one with the gray is just a little bit softer. But this one really works. Like I said, I don't know if it's the pen that I got, if it's this pen or if they're all like that, but then seeing this one, right, really allows me to like make these quick thick to thin lines and have absolutely no issues with it, right? So I actually, at this point, I like the black line on this one better. All right, this one actually seems to flow a little bit better. So like I said, it might just be, I guess not. Okay, so this one just started off better. This one started off like the ink was just ready to go. But I do believe that this one's actually softer. This pen, as far as this one. So this one and this one, they have different nib types, and this one's actually thicker than this one is. So that might actually be a reason why this one just flows. This one's so much faster, right? And it's softer. When you put the nib down, it actually bends a lot faster. So I guess with this one you would have a little bit more control, right? So you can get those nice tight fine lines, and this one's a little bit faster. So the ink flows faster, and you can manipulate that line so much faster. Yeah, see, making larger lines, this gray and black one allows you to actually move through a lot faster. So I'm thinking like this one almost seems like a sketch pen, right? So you can just come in and, you know, just do kind of whatever you would need to do really quick scribble sketches, you know. You can really, I don't know, this one just seems as though, because it is so much lighter, right, or so much more flexible, you can actually try and do so much more with it, right? It just flows better. Like I said, I think I like this one as far as versatility, not versatility, but speed, right? So with the speed, I'm able to actually come in and do these kind of very quick sketch lines and it not matter, right? You're just like bam, 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 bam. Works really, really fast, whereas this one is definitely more of a precision pen. So if you're looking for something that is a little bit faster to where you can just sketch and get a nice flow of ink, do really quick lines, and do some thick to thins, then this one that has the gray and the black is probably the one for you. And then if you're looking for more of a precision line, right, and that you can get really, really small with and come in and do these really nice lines, then this one is what you're looking for. So we just got done testing the Fudenosuke TOMBOW calligraphy ink brush pens, and you know, for a person who doesn't like inking, these are pretty fun. I like the fact that there is a variety in the nib, so it allows you to choose which kind of pen you're looking for, whereas this one that has the gray and black on it, that's actually got a softer brush nib, so you can actually sketch with it. So there's a lot of flexibility in it, and you're able to just let it go. The ink flows really nicely and it goes really, really fast. So that one's really cool. Whereas this one, the brush is actually a lot tougher, right? So it's a lot firmer. And so when you actually try and sketch, a lot of ink doesn't come out of it, which I do believe is by design, so you can make these nice flowing calligraphy lines. And so when it comes to inking, I would probably be going more with this, because it'll force me to slow down a little bit, but it'll give me that versatility from going from thick to thin or thin to thick to thin, and I can do that in one stroke. Like, I don't have to worry about going back over it with a pen. You know, I made this line, now I'm gonna make another line, we're gonna make another line to make sure that I get the flow that I'm looking for with my inking. I can just do that in one shot. And that's actually very enticing to me to switch over to these pens, because that would speed up production if I don't have to go over it 3 or 4 times to get the line that I'm looking for. So I do believe with a bit of practice to get used to these, that these will actually become your new favorite pen because of the flexibility, but also because of the control that you can have with it. That is the one thing that has always thrown me with brushes, right, is the control issue or the lack thereof, and the fact that you got to spend a ton of time getting used to what they are and how to control it, and sometimes you still can't. But with these, because they are structured the way they are, it seems as though you are in complete control as far as how the brush nib is going to work and move. And with the ink flow, you get to decide which one you want, either the sketch one or the more inking style one. So if you are looking to try out a new inking pen, I would absolutely suggest these TOMBOW Fudenosuke Brush Pens. They are actually really, really fun, and I highly recommend them. So in my opinion, yes, these are worth it. So that concludes today's episode of Is It Worth It? If you got anything from it, if it was helpful in any way, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know exactly when I update this channel. I put out new content every single week, and if for any reason you have a product that you are dying to try or would like someone else to try, please drop me a comment and I will put it on the list and we will get to it as soon as possible. Thank you guys so very much, and I will see you at the next video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to check out some of my other videos, click on the link on your right. Or, if you're interested in a more behind-the-scenes and personal look at what I do on a day-to-day basis, please click on the link that leads you to the vlog. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next video.